Yukiko is a fairly traditional zoning character who's not very hard to pick up, but she also has some good depth with her fire boost gimmicks and additional set play utility with her special attacks. She's arguably the best zoner in the game, equipped with full screen moves that allow you to dictate the distance between you and your opponent. You can play keep away, forcing them to work their way in only to constantly get shut out, and then take the initiative to force closer range action when they clamp up and get defensive. Be sure to check out this Git book guide written up by KC from the Persona Fight Club Discord if you're interested in a bit more comprehensive breakdown that goes beyond the scope of this beginner guide. The biggest positive to this character is zoning. You can very easily make the game super frustrating for the opponent and even outzone some of the other zoners in the cast quite easily. But when you get in on the opponent, Yukiko is no slouch with the pressure. Her combos lead into some pretty tricky situations for people to deal with, including some unblockable setups. And off those combos and set play openings, you'll be dealing out a ton of damage. Of course, defense is her weakness. Her DP is kinda mediocre, and if they can stay in that close range in the air, she doesn't deal with it as well as she deals with other spaces of the screen. So the best defense with this character is to make sure you're doing your best to dictate the opponent's space and avoid those bad situations. Also, don't get hit. And Persona cards. Lose your cards and you've lost damn near every single move. No special moves, no DP, no supers, you're done. So you gotta be careful and try not to overextend in trying to take your turn back during pressure sequences. A lot of better players will make it a mission to bide their time until you slip up, overplay your hand too many times, and are in range of having your persona broken, at which point they can take the offensive and you will have no answer. So, just be smart about it. As always, check out dustloop.com for a full breakdown of all of her moves. I'll just briefly go over them. Yukiko's A attacks strike a balance between speed and range. They hit a bit further than most characters' A attacks, but she doesn't have any super fast ones to mash out of pressure with. It makes sense when you see that her B attacks are all projectiles, so her A attacks are designed as kind of a combination to be a middle ground between what other characters normally have for the A and B attacks. Sweep has pretty good range. The B attack fan projectiles can be altered with back and forward to give different speeds for the standing attack and different angles for the diagonal attacks. Be careful with these and throw them out only when you know that they'll hit or block off space because you're a bit vulnerable after letting them fly. The Persona normals have pretty generous hitboxes in startup. The C attacks are great for putting down pressure and give a lot of pushback to keep distance. You want to throw these out in block strings after normal moves or after displacing the Persona. The D attacks are the far-reaching tools that you'll use to help with zoning the opponent out and what you'll use to displace the Personas for those C attack follow-ups. People might get tempted to try to take your Persona cards, but the C attacks can blow them up for poor attempts. Similar to the fans, you can adjust the speed or angles of the D attacks by including a horizontal direction, either backward or forward or neutral. The DP has a really tight horizontal hitbox, but if you do get a hit, it sends the opponent flying and they gotta fight all the way through the zoning to get back in. It can be held to recover HP and it blocks all projectiles, even supers. Agi is an all-around useful move. You can incorporate it into your zoning, combos, block pressure, set play. A few of Yukiko's special moves have this pretty cool property where you can hold the attack button to delay the second part of the move. With Agi, you can get a knockdown and delay the fire to hit the opponent on a wake up, forming the foundation for your set play shenanigans. Maragi is a low-hitting projectile that controls the bottom half of the screen. A version starts slow, recovers quick, B version the opposite, and SB version gives you the perfect blend. It makes a fire roll when it hits, or you can detonate it early by pressing the same attack button. Flame Dance is mostly used for combos and block strings. This is where we get to see Yukiko's special gimmick. Flame Amp levels up your fire level meter. More fire, more damage. Some combos incorporate the boost, but you'll often have to make a decision after combos whether you want the better set play or to boost up your levels. SB version gives you 2 levels and the D version is Fire Break, one of her best tools. This makes your next fire move unblockable. Anytime you can get Fire Break set up, you become a nightmare to deal with. Now this move has the input of a super, but it's a regular skill. Only thing is, it's locked out until you're at least level 3 fire meter. But it's really good. It has a giant hitbox and blows straight through projectiles. You should definitely be thinking about ways every match to quickly get to fire level 3 so that you have access to this move. Agidyne, frame 1 invincible. This super immediately lets loose a projectile, or it can be held to spin horizontally for the C version or upwards for the D version. The C version has good utility since you can get Fire Break right after it because it knocks down. The Awakened Super is also frame 1 invincible. C version pushes away, while D version brings him closer. Again, another high utility move that you can apply in a bunch of situations. Reversal, combo ender for the kill, or pressure to create an opening. Yukiko has an all-around great set of moves, with the only real weakness being when you put it on the back foot. For the combos, we're going to start with 2 diverging points, the simple route and the harder route. This combo is much easier than it looks. The C attacks just do a ton of hits. I will say that the crouching C cancel into Flame Dance is a tad bit earlier than you expect, then the pickup afterwards just takes some practice to nail consistently. Then, the stand C finish gives you a knockdown where you can put out projectiles or sneak in fire charges. Then we have the loops. Same starter as the first combo, but after that last crouching C, you have to link Flame Dances. You can get up to 6. The timing is very specific, but the input is kind of lenient, so you can mash it out at first to get a feel for where the buttons need to be timed exactly, and then try to hit that window right after the attack and right before it disappears. You'll get the rhythm down eventually. It might take a little bit of practice. But the reason you want to learn this route is because you don't have the first option off of high scale starters like crouching A, which is typically the main way you hit people starting out, with low attacks. So the stand C doesn't have enough time to hit, meaning you gotta get the fire loops down for these situations to maximize damage. You can tack on super to these combos as well if you ever need to squeeze in some extra damage to kill. The corner confirms are where we get to the set play that I mentioned. Ending with the held Agi skill allows you to threaten them with the explosion, letting you hit them with something pretty nasty to open them up for another combo for almost free. If you feel confident in getting these openings against someone, you can force that Agi set play mid-screen using this instant air dash combo. And that's really all you need. You'll wear down a ton of health on people trying to get in on you just by playing your zoning game, then finish them off with the combos. But I have a special combo that's a bit more complex, just to show you the potential of the character and how you can leverage the different variations to her moves, like the fan angles and held fire attacks. This 25-meter combo is a good taste of that. Enhanced Agi puts out 2 flame traps that you can hold to detonate at different points in the combo. And this one is kinda hard, so good luck. Getting this type of negative edge execution though will help you blow through those skill walls when you get there, and you need the higher payoff routes to succeed at a higher level. Neutral play with Yukiko requires you to understand the strengths and weaknesses of each zoning option. Her moveset allows you to compensate for one move's deficiencies with another move's strengths on the follow-up. So primarily you want to get good with the fan tosses. Tagging the opponent with these is the beginning of how you restrict space from them. So learn your angles and get good with anticipating their next move so you can take that space away. Remember, your D persona attacks cover a ton of different areas on the screen, but leave you vulnerable to losing cards. So what you do is use those attacks to cover Yukiko, while you use the fans and Yukiko's block strings to cover the persona. Then, you have your special moves to add to the mix for some variation, and to answer responses from your opponents as they come. Agi comes out really quick, and as you develop your playstyle, you can even hold it while still being active and neutral to really limit zones. Miragi and Flame Swirl are obviously really strong tools as well that you should be making good use of. And anytime you catch the opponent overthinking, be sure to get in your fire boost skills to level up and get unblockable attacks. And when you feel the time is right, don't be scared to get in there and test the waters for an opening. Block pressure is pretty straightforward, and the length of the C attacks gives you plenty of time to plan out your next move. You can reset pressure with the D attacks and strings, but it's always a risk. Flame Dance is a good option on block since it recovers pretty quick, and you can also repeat it to condition the opponent to heavily respect it. And here's a pretty strong tool for you. Crouch D hits overhead, and you can get setups that allow you to mix it with Crouch A for a free opening. You can get this off of Agi set play or in block strings with enhanced Agi. And the last bit of advice is to make good use of system mechanics. You want to try to always have meter on hand for guard cancel attacks and escape rolls. Showing those defensive options to your opponent opens up a little mental room that you need to make for your DP, making it a bit more useful and hopefully giving you the openings that you need to survive the opponent's offense once they get through yours and flip the momentum in your favor. So, hope you have fun with the character, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.